What's going through your mind?
Hey, hold on. We got to start with the cat because nobody called me out for 2 years. Ain't nobody in boxing been calling me.
Hey, stop that cat. Listen, Errol Spence Jr., man down. He said he ain't fighting no Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, none of them fighters. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App. That's $ Boxing Ego, and the Patreon family. We working. Let's get it. Stop that cat. Errol Spence verified page. He's seen something and he ain't like it. Premier Boxing Champs, PBC, his company that he fights on, network. It says lots of talent in the welterweight division for Errol Spence. Who do you want to see in the ring next? Now, I don't know why they even made this graphic. Stop that cap. It says Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, 2 division champion, Keith Thurman, former unified champion, your Dennis Ugas, and Jose Cito Lopez, right? So this was just posted by PBC December 16th. So yesterday, right? They posted this graphic and it doesn't even really make sense. Said, like, I get it. It says, who do you want to see him fight next? But they shouldn't have asked this question and paired it with this graphic, you know, because if you look at the 2 Garcias, the leftmost side of this particular graphic, it shows Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia, and those are 2 people that Errol already beat and beat up and looked like he damaged Danny Garcia's eye damn near. You get what I'm saying? So he's already knocked off the 2 Garcias. And then the third person over is Keith Thurman. And he's already been on record saying that, stop that cat. He said Keith fronted on him, basically. I'm just paraphrasing. So why should he fight Keith Thurman? He's not fighting him. He says he'll move up and fight everybody else before he fight Keith Thurman. So unless he decides, you know, to change his mind and he's in the driver's seat, like he always says, tables turn, right? Keith Thurman don't. So out of this whole graphic of 5, you can easily rule out 3 of the people unless the cash cow Errol Spence, you know, changes his mind on Keith, which is, I do think, for the record, is still a great fight. But I do understand Errol's positioning. You know, somebody tried to make it hard for you and front it on you. Why you going to not front on them? So that leaves your Dennis Ugas and Jose Cito Lopez, which would actually, now that I'm looking at it, would be a great fight if they fought each other. You see what I'm saying? But they're both deserving of a big fight. However, when you got Manny Pacquiao, he's going to fight me? I do believe my fight with Errol. You know, when you got the likes of a Manny Pacquiao who are looking your way, and that might be up your alley, I don't think you're going to be checking for no Ugas, even though I believe he's Errol's mandatory. But you're not going to be checking for that or Jose Cito. No disrespect, Jose Cito, you know, he's game as they come. And he's retired his last 2 opponents, Chia Santana, as well as John Molina. John Molina is now a sheriff. Shout out to him, life after boxing. But, I mean, big fish, man down. Like, it don't really make sense if you have the option of a Pacquiao or big fights like that to be looking at Ugas Lopez next when Pacquiao wants to fight you. And that's, according to his team, something they're really interested in exploring. So Errol Spence seen this graphic and he said, this ish has to be old. I'm not fighting none. Smash the like button. He said, this ish had to be old. I'm not fighting none of them. If it said the F, you know, TF, the UC, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, and Lopez doing on there anyway. Like, Errol country, bro. He said, why? Like, he already beat. I just went over this, man. He said he ain't fighting none of them. Man down. He already man down 2 of them on the list. And he already said he ain't fighting Keith Thurman. Again, I still think that is a good fight, but Errol's the man in charge. They didn't have anything to do with Crawford on that, rightfully so. You know, it's a PBC broadcast. They don't have to keep mentioning Crawford. You know, ESPN doesn't go out of their way. Like, I mean, we're seeing a lot of cap in the sport of boxing anyway, because I distinctly remember when HBO was on top, and after Al Heyman, a black advisor, when he left HBO and took most of his fighters, HBO went out of their way to not show love and to hate on PBC and Al Heyman. Jim Lampley was doing specials like the anti-Gotti list. So he had this thing called the Gotti list of all the basic fights that he thought were super action-packed and the fighters you should be checking for. And a lot of those guys that he had on that Gotti list, like he had fighters like Glenn Tapia, and that Gotti list was capped in itself because, no disrespect to Glenn Tapia, but he lost to James Kirkland, Gabe Rosado. He lost most of his big fights. That Gotti list, you know, rest in peace to Arturo Gotti, but, you know, that's not going to get you far in boxing if you just fighting off of sheer will and heart and toughness and brawling with everybody. There's some big punchers out there, etc. So, you know, it just didn't really make sense to even have a Gotti list. But I do remember Jim Lampley distinctly made an anti-Gotti list where he was using the polar opposite and trying to call for all the most boring fighters in the game. And he put PBC fighters on there, a lot of them. Like he put Floyd Mayweather on there, an Al Heyman fighter, one of the biggest Al Heyman fighter ever, you know, that was produced in terms of blockbuster commercial success and mainstream success. So HBO went out of their way to not give credit to the other side. So all that Crawford talk about, you know, why is Crawford, and to PBC's credit, they actually have been showing Crawford on some recent graphics and stuff like that. And I don't think it was ever against Crawford particularly. I think the PBC wasn't messing with the WBO because the WBO is considered to be the top rank belt, you know, and it's real hard for guys on the PBC to allegedly get their hand. Just look at the WBO champions. Who are they? Tell me a WBO champion, how many of them aren't signed to top rank, and then tell me how many are. So there's a lot of politics and stuff in the game of boxing, but Errol's the man in charge. As far as Crawford, I'll do some more videos regarding that situation. It's not looking good, to be honest. It's not looking good because Crawford, in my honest opinion, he doesn't have the leverage. You can say whatever you want, but Errol Big Fish, man down, just saw the Dallas Texas. You know what I mean? He's the man of the hour. He's beating the better competition. He has more belts. He's like has this crazy story now with the car wreck. He got a ranch. You know, he's just winning right now. And he's been staying in shape and continuing to work out, even though he doesn't have his next fight lined up. So I feel him. I feel Errol has earned the right to be choosy in boxing right now, meaning looking at this PBC graphic and say, hey, that's cap. I already beat 2 of the 5 guys, and, you know, 5 guys like the burger place. He already beat 2 of them. The other one fronted on him, so he don't really owe Keith Thurman any favors. And then 2 of the other ones are good fighters, but Jose Cito, you know, he just because he troubled Keith Thurman coming off a long layoff, don't mean he could beat Errol Spence Jr. Meanwhile, the reason why I said even names like Ugas Jose Cito Lopez for Crawford is because Errol Spence has been doing heavy lifting. Crawford hasn't fought the likes of a Ugas or a Jose Cito Lopez. See, everybody, they listen to my commentary and they have all these, I guess, alleged criticisms, but when you break it down, then you know it don't make sense. If Terrence Crawford was doing the heavy lifting and he was fighting the likes of Danny Garcia and stuff like that, then nobody would be on his back. Everybody would be like Errol Spence, given if he had Crawford's welterweight resume, people would say Errol Spence need to step it up because Crawford's out here, you know, beating everybody and beating Danny's and Mikey's, you know, undefeated guys with only a few losses that are all contested, like Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. He's beating the top ranked guys, and he's doing it impressively. So that's just the reality of it. Nobody is asking Crawford to do anything that Errol or the other PBC guys, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, you guys aren't doing. You guys fought him at Sean Porter. Sean Porter fought everybody. Keith Thurman, Errol, Danny, you guys, Berto, Broner. Danny Garcia, he moved up from 140. He fought everybody. The only person that has been pretty much unscathed from top competition, and it has all knockouts. There's a reason for that. Why does one person have all knockouts, but the guys that we consider to be the best that are all fighting each other, they can't just knock everybody out? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. So back to this Errol Spence topic. I think he's earned the right to go after bigger fights right now. I mean, if he has mandatories that come up and they order the you guys fight or whatever, then it is what it is. You got to fight him. I get that. But this graphic, I don't know why FS1 even put this out, and then they kind of try to connect the dots. They should have just posted a picture of Errol Spence and say who you want to see Errol fight next, instead of putting this graphic and pairing it. Some things don't go together. Some things go together great, like steak and red wine or peanut butter and jelly. But this graphic that they were using probably for some other reason doesn't go great with the PBC social media team's question about Errol Spence. That's why he responded in the fashion that he did. Like, there's got to be, I ain't fighting none of them. And then, ironically enough, more bad news for Terrence Crawford. You have Manny Pacquiao Promotions, Sean Gibbons, and he in the comment section, and he posted this, like almost as a hint. That's all he posted in response. Errol Spence said he ain't fighting none of these dudes. And then you have Manny Pacquiao Promotions. I think he's the president. I don't know if it tells you. Yeah, I don't think he has it. But he's definitely Pacquiao's right-hand man and affiliated with Pacquiao. He's one of his advisors, as you guys can see. Boom, we got action. And he's posting that kind of subliminal. So Errol's shutting down these welterweight challengers. 2 of them he already beat, which made no sense to begin with. And then the other 3, he's already told you he don't want to fight Keith Thurman because of the games Keith Thurman played. And then you have this kind of subliminal hint, And then Crawford's sister said, fight Terrence Crawford and stop procrastinating. But again, procrastinating, that's funny. Again, okay, so Pacquiao Promotions is hinting at a fight Pacquiao next then. That's a great big fight. Why would Errol fight Terrence Crawford? Like, so you guys got to make this make sense. Crawford is a great fighter. He's a terrific fighter, but his own promoter says he is not. So I get that this is his sister. I know her. Shout out to Letitia. But I understand her riding for her brother and stuff like that, but it just makes no sense. Crawford just told you himself he wants to fight Pacquiao. So if Errol Spence can try to fight Pacquiao and retire a legend and have the honor of just sharing the ring with the legend, why would Errol Spence say, nah, I'm gonna fight a guy whose own promoter says he's losing him money? It doesn't make sense. You could try, you could say it's a better fight with Errol and Terrence Crawford, but you have to understand this is also a business, because guess what? If Crawford keeps doing what he's doing, Errol Spence could try to knock off Pacquiao and still fight Terrence Crawford after that. Versus, we don't know. Pacquiao just had his birthday the other day. I believe he's 42 now. We don't know how long Pacquiao is going to even continue fighting. He does politics and things with the Senate. So there's not a guarantee that this opportunity will be there, because we don't know if someone else could beat Pacquiao if he fights somebody else, like a rematch with Keith Thurman. We don't know if Pacquiao chooses to retire. We don't really know what's up, but he's had a lengthy career. So it's up to him. He's 70 plus fights. It doesn't make sense. So I think the walls are closing in for Terrence Crawford. I get his sister. That's her brother. She's going to ride with him, but you got to make it make sense. If Manny Pacquiao Promotions is doing interviews with Yahoo Sports saying, hey, Manny liked the way Errol Spence looked and he feels that's a big fight and he still got the hunger to fight, so 2021, we might be able to get it cracking. That's just too big of a fight. Jerry's World, AT&T Stadium. And then Errol Spence said, I ain't fighting none of these dudes on this PBC graphic. That's his company. He said, I ain't fighting none of them dudes. Why would Errol Spence look away from that to fight Crawford? Do you think Crawford if Crawford had the ability, like they just said Crawford was finna fight Pacquiao in Qatar, not Errol Spence. So how can Crawford, you guys will never win, bro. How could Crawford, before the Kell Brook, he told Sean Porter he had something big brewing, which was allegedly Pacquiao in Qatar. So how is it that Crawford allegedly was going to fight Pacquiao in Qatar, but Errol Spence, you know, Crawford's sister, is saying that you're procrastinating if you fight Pacquiao? And we know AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, they would love to have that fight, and it makes more money. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, or however the saying goes. How is it Crawford can seek out and desire a fight with Pacquiao, but if Errol actually gets it and it's a bigger fight than the Crawford fight, then how can anyone attempt to shame Errol Spence for getting the Pacquiao fight and going after, knowing Crawford's trying to do the same thing and he probably is going to come up short? I mean, it's looking bad, but shout out to Errol Spence on the reply. I don't know why PBC put out that graphic. More stuff coming on my channel. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Before I get out of here, use my link to get ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus, they offer a ton of original content, docuseries, documentaries, archive footage, and more for your viewing needs. It's $5.99 a month if you click on that link, ESPN Plus. If you want more content, get the bundle, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus, all 3 apps, one low price of $12.99 a month. You guys should enjoy that. Disney Plus just announced a bunch of fights. Use my link, ESPN Plus. Let me know what you guys think of Errol Spence's response to the PBC graphic. It didn't really make sense, but let me know what you guys think. Drop me a lengthy comment, and I'll read through some of the comments as I go about my day. Let me know your thoughts also on the Crawford situation and more. If you have questions for me, holla. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. I don't know. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.